Hi guys, my name's Katie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review slash walkthrough for the Moneybox Lifetime ISA. Now I've done a separate video on the sort of requirements for the Lifetime ISA if you're not aware of those. This video is going to be primarily based on the Moneybox Lifetime ISA and the features and requirements for that. So I'm not sponsored by Moneybox, it's just an app that I have and that I use. I think I've had it for nearly a year now, so I'm fairly familiar with it. So I'll just talk through the app in general and then I'll do like a screen grab and you can have a look inside the app and see what my account's doing. Now there are two different types of ISA that you can open with Moneybox. So you can open up a cash lifetime ISA or a stocks and shares lifetime ISA. Now I went for the cash lifetime ISA, but obviously it depends on what you like. And I chose this for a number of different reasons. Firstly is that you can only open up one type of each of those ISAs in every tax year. And I already had a investment stocks and shares ISA with Moneybox as well. So when it came to a lifetime ISA, my only chance that tax year was for a cash ISA. And I wanted to open it fairly quickly to get the government bonus this year. And secondly, this one is quite a big one for me. There are no account charges for the cash ISA, whereas with the stocks and shares ISA there are account charges. In case anyone is thinking of opening the stocks and shares lifetime ISA, then I'll just go through the funds for you now for Moneybox. Okay, so firstly there is a £1 monthly subscription fee, although it's free for the first 3 months. Secondly, there's a platform fee, which is 0.45% of your investments. And lastly, there are also fund provider fees, so because Moneybox don't have their own funds to invest in, they use somebody else's. I think it's Fidelity, so you have to pay to be able to use their funds as well. So these fees range from 0.12% to 0.3% of your investments. So if you're at the maximum of 0.3% for your fund, you are being charged, on top of your £1 monthly subscription fee, you're also paying up to a 0.75% charge of your investments. And obviously it doesn't sound like a lot, it's under 1%, but when you're investing thousands of pounds, like you would be when you're investing into a house or maybe your pension, then they can add up. So just be aware of this. Other providers may provide cheaper alternatives, but And the last reason why I went for a cash lifetime ISA over these stocks and shares is that I didn't feel like I had enough time for my investments sort of to be classified as long term. I mean, I've got a 5-year plan in place and I don't feel like 5 years was enough to warrant investing my money. That's still quite a short amount of time. And obviously the stock market is very volatile, it goes up and down all the time, and I didn't want my money to be on a sort of negative at the time that, say, I found my dream house and I wanted to put in an offer straight away. I didn't then want to feel like I missed that opportunity and wanted to wait for my money to regain some of its value. So I just stuck with the cash ISA because I felt like it was safer and it wouldn't sort of hold me back when it came to finding somewhere I really liked. And like I said before, I already opened up an investment ISA separately, so that's what I'm putting my long-term savings into, and then obviously my lifetime ISA I'm using for my house. So with all that being said, most of the features that I'm going to show you on the walkthrough app and talk about now are pretty similar. The only real difference I think is that the time that the money takes to come up into your ISA may take a little bit longer when you're investing it. Because obviously it has to go through the stockbrokers and through a couple of different providers to get your money invested, whereas with the cash lifetime ISA they're just depositing it into the ISA. Okay, so I'll just go through how the app works and the good and bad things that I've picked up on while using it in the last year. Overall, I think the app is really good. I think it's really easy to use, really intuitive. I think it makes saving for a house quite fun, and it really breaks down exactly where your money has come from. So how much is your input, how much government bonus you have, and then how much of the interest you've made on top of all of those. It's really easy to open up the Lifetime ISA. You just download the app and get started. I think all the information you need is your bank details and your national insurance number. A really big positive Moneybox has is that there's no minimum payment. You're not required or contracted to put in anything. It's literally just £1 to open up the account and then it's there and it's up to you when and how much money you put in there. I think the only negative that Moneybox has, and I don't personally find this an issue, is that it doesn't have a phone number should you want to contact them over the phone. If you like actually being able to talk to somebody, then maybe this account might not be for you. They either have an email address which you can contact, or they have like a messaging service in the app, which I've used and I've had really good experience with. I think when I sent them a message they replied within the hour, so that was fine for me. But I guess if you are a little bit old school and you like being able to have that backup to phone somebody up, then that might be an issue for you. So in terms of paying into Moneybox, they have a weekly payment schedule. You can set up either a weekly or a monthly, or you can just do it as one-off payments, whatever you choose. But their withdrawal day is on a Wednesday, so whenever you put through a request for money to be taken out, it will always happen on the next Wednesday after that request, and then that will get sent to your bank and the money will come out the following Monday, and then it will take 1 or 2 days to settle actually into your ISA, so that will be into your actual ISA on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. So it can take up to 7 days from the request to actually the money being settled into the app and gaining interest on it. So without further ado, let's get stuck in and see what the app looks like. So I just recorded the whole of this video and then found out that it wasn't recording sound. So let's try again. So this is the screen you'll see when you first log in. You'll be on the This Week tab, which is essentially where you track and edit the current week's savings and accept or decline your roundups if you have that connected. At the top you'll see the selected account and the total amount in there. And if you have more than one account, you can click on the drop down arrow and select whichever one you'd like to view. Obviously we're doing the Lifetime ISA. I'm doing a separate video for the Stocks and Shares ISA. I did actually transfer my funds out of it recently, but I'll cover that in the other video. Let's get into how to put money into your pot. I like to call this little circle in the centre here your pot of money, as it shows your total money saved that week, including weekly, monthly, one-off payments and roundups. I like to think of it as a weekly piggy bank. You can take money out or you can put more money in. If you want to override that total amount in the middle, then you can just click on the little pencil and type in the amount that you want to change it to. So we can easily make that 100. And say an unexpected cost has come up, you can just zero it and that will get rid of anything there for the next week or until the next Wednesday or the next collection day. Now there are a few different methods to add money to your ISA. Firstly, if you click on the add money semicircle, you can choose between adding a one-off value or setting up a weekly deposit. Now, I already showed you how to override your savings pot using the blue circle, but if you also add extra to that amount, for example, if you made some extra cash that you want to put in, then you can add a custom one-off amount. So I can easily just add £50 in here, and that will put it in the middle. I could do it again if I wanted, put 40 in, that'll add it in. And I can also easily just change that if I'm like, oh, I'm not quite sure, I'll make that 60 instead. You can really just change it to however much you like. And as for setting up a weekly deposit, it's the same sort of thing. You've got a couple of suggested amounts here, or you can do a custom amount and just put in whatever you like, and then that will set that as a weekly deposit. I don't actually pay anything weekly, as I pay in monthly. There are actually 2 ways to set up weekly deposits. There's under add money, which I just showed you, or you can also set them up under the settings tab. So straight away you can see the headings Roundup, weekly deposits and boosts, which are the top 3. So weekly deposits are pretty much the same to what we just did, just under a different menu. There is a feature here for stocks and shares accounts that I'll briefly mention just in case anyone is thinking of opening one, and that's this projected value here. So Moneybox predict how much money your investments could make, and I emphasise the word could there, if you increase your weekly deposit. So mine is a little bit biased, as you can see here. If you click on the little I, then it says take into account my plan value, deposit settings and investment allocation. But if I change that to £25 a week, then you can see it projects me a gain of over £5,000 over a 10-year period, which I think is a nice little feature. You can play around with the different numbers and see how much you could make. Oh, sorry, I meant 100 there. Moving on to monthly payments, these are actually categorised under boosts, and it's called a payday boost. So you can see here my settings that I've saved. My payday is on the 20th of every month, and I've set up to pay £332 every month, and that comes out the Wednesday after the 20th. So if you click on contributions, it will actually show you the payment schedule that I explained earlier, and that this money will effectively go into the piggy bank circle I was talking about, and then the following Wednesday the cycle gets put in motion for your bank, and then the money comes out and then gets put into your ISA, etc. Now, one drawback with the payday boost is that you can only select one account for it. If you see here, I can only choose one, I can't choose both. But that's okay with me, as I only wanted it for my lifetime ISA. I'm quite happy with weekly deposits for my stocks and shares. So my savings plan is to use the maximum bonus possible of £4,000 a year, which monthly is £333.33 reoccurring. I rounded that to a number divisible by 4, so my bonus is a whole number because I'm weird like that. And then my last month, I'll just pay whatever's remaining. I'll hit the maximum bonus button that I'll show you in a second. Lastly, in terms of paying into your accounts, you also have the options of Roundups. Now, I used to use Roundups, but I don't anymore. I used to use them in my stocks and shares ISA, and the Roundups need re-evaluating every 90 days. And you can see here that mine is no longer connected. I got a new phone and I can't remember my banking password to reset it up again. But I'm not that fussed because, like I say, I'm doing the payday boost and just using the maximum. If you're not familiar with Roundups, effectively what they do is they round up any transaction you make on your registered card to the nearest pound and put the rounded up amount into your account. So say, for example, you bought a coffee for £3.50, it would round up to £4 and the 50p would appear in your Moneybox app piggy bank. Now, I want to be clear about the Moneybox roundups because I know they vary between providers. I know some banks do roundups themselves. For example, if you have a current account and a savings account with the same bank, they'll round up the transaction and automatically put in the change into your second account for you. So you effectively paid the £4 for your coffee and it just goes through straight away. Because Moneybox is a third-party app and is not actually a bank themselves but a provider, it doesn't actually have the authority to be automatically making these transactions. You have to physically log in and manually accept the roundups into your piggy bank for it then to be added to your weekly amount saved into your middle circle here. And the idea of roundups is that it takes the small change that you wouldn't notice missing, but Moneybox saves all your roundups and debits a week's worth of roundups together. Now don't get me wrong, it's still a great feature, and I actually saved pretty much all of my £200 of my stocks and shares ISA in 6 months with the roundups. But just to be transparent, it doesn't come out of your bank at the same time as the original transaction, and it does mean that it could be debited over a week afterwards. Roundups appear on the original homepage tab called This Week, and they come up individually underneath the Add Money button in a list, and it's a simple swipe left or right to accept or delete each roundup. And I think there's also an accept all button that appears just to make it a little bit quicker. And you may also have spotted a roundup boost button under the payday boost in settings. This is called the super roundup, and if you activate this, it will double all of your roundups. Okay, that's the general how to set up payments and move around the app. I'm now going to show you the 2 account breakdowns, which I think is the fun part. If I click on the accounts tab at the bottom, it shows me all my accounts, and at the top, the total value of all my accounts put together. Obviously, it's only my lifetime ISA at the moment, so it just mirrors that. And if we go into the lifetime ISA, you can already see that this screen provides you with quite a lot of information. Firstly, you have your account balance, and directly below that is money collected, which would be any money that got collected on the last Wednesday but hasn't settled yet, just for peace of mind that you know it's being processed. And then you've got your current earnings, which includes both government bonus and interest. And then below that you have today's interest. I'm currently making about 4p a day just on the money being sat there. And if we scroll down, you can see that I'm pending £83 of bonus waiting to be paid to me. This can take between 1 to 2 months, as Moneybox has to apply to the government for the money. And if I scroll down even further, then you can see my entire deposit history. I opened this account in October 2019, but you can see that I didn't start paying regularly until April payday this year, as I'm saving more in lockdown. If I click on breakdown at the top, then it does exactly that. It breaks it down even further. So you can see my split between contributions, bonus and interest. I've made about £8.60 in interest just since October, and I think Moneybox do a really good job of making it clear where your money stands. Also, the interest due refreshes daily. It's currently the 3rd of the month today, so I'm on 9p. Alright, time for my favourite part of the app, the Lifetime ISA bonus overview. So if I click on the little side arrow here, it brings me to a screen that shows you how much of your ISA allowance you've used and how much you have left to save to reach the maximum. So as you're probably aware, the max amount you can save in a tax year is £4,000, which gives you the maximum bonus of £1,000. So I still have £667.75 bonus to claim. This really bothers me that it's not a whole number. But as the Lifetime ISA is done over the tax year, it's only been 4 months. So I still have a way to go until I reach the maximum. They also have this button on the right called the Get Max Bonus, which I mentioned earlier. And I like this as it's a really quick way to make sure that you get the max benefits of this ISA. And say you opened it to deposit the £4,000 to get the maximum bonus, you can just click that button. And it's also a really easy way just to ensure that you've reached the maximum and that you don't end up getting the maths wrong. I think that would just be the worst, thinking that you've figured it all out and divided it all equally and then finding out that you're a few quid short. So that just ensures that you can max out the rewards. And I think that's pretty much it. If you go to the settings tab, under notifications at the bottom here, you can find your receipts and quarterly statements. And if you've got a stocks and shares, then you'll get an individual contract note for each time you've invested. But at the very bottom here, you'll find a confirmation of details. And in here, you'll find your national insurance number if you ever need that. It's a little tip for you, so you don't need to go and dig through a load of paperwork to find it, because I've definitely used that. And most things can be found in the settings tab, and it's fairly simple to navigate. You can find information on investments, which I show in my other video. If you click on allocations, there's lots of information to be found in there. And if you want to withdraw or transfer funds, that's fairly simple. You can click on a transfer there. And a withdraw here is fairly easy as well. And also, if you want to ask the team a question, you can just click on help, and then there's a contact us at the bottom. And that takes you to the messenger service. And also they've got lots of different information on their other accounts, and they've got frequently asked questions in here. Pretty much most things you need to know, but as you can see, it says can't find an answer, contact us. So they're very happy to help, and like I said before, they replied to me really quickly when I used it, so there was no issues there. Oh, another thing that I should probably mention, although I don't use it myself because I have a similar scheme with my car insurance, but they do a Moneybox Plus. If you look under Discover and then See All, and if you sign up to this sort of reward scheme, and anything you buy with these brands, you'll get a bit of cash back. So you get 3% if you buy something from Nike. And then there's terms and conditions for each store as well, such as like a minimum or a maximum spend limit, or sales not included or sale is included, things like that. And there's tons and tons of brands and things in here that you can get cashback rewards for. So every little helps when it comes to that. But like I say, I've got a similar scheme with my car insurance, so I use that one. And they also have some little facts here for you. And if you click on like the Lifetime ISA bonus here, it takes you to the page I was on before. And just some sort of quick links, some overviews of the last 8 weeks of savings. Obviously I pay monthly, but that is quite interesting to see should you be paying weekly. and some more facts and figures. So far I've paid 996 in this tax year since April, and they've all been through my payday boost. And there's just some more information. You click on this I, then it explains your contribution and the ISA limit of £20,000. So there's this information pretty much everywhere you look in this app. I think they've done a really good job of incorporating it all, and overall I think it's a really good app. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful to some of you. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Any feedback or any questions you have, please do let me know down below. I'm always happy to read them and respond. I do also have a video on the stocks and shares ISA. I've got a walkthrough for that one as well if you're interested. And as I mentioned before, I've also got a video on the Lifetime ISA and the requirements for opening one. So yeah, thank you for watching and stay tuned.